Hey everyone, Cynics here. I hope you noticed the terrible thumbnail. Today I felt like answering a question that gets asked a lot. What is a tangent? Or better yet, what do I personally mean when I use the word tangent? I've discussed this topic before, tucked away in some other videos, but I thought it would be a lot nicer to just have a specific video on it. So here we go. In the realm of mathematics, a tangent is just a line or plane that touches the outer edge of a circle in exactly one point. In the realm of art, I just use the word tangent to refer to all interactions between different lines. You might even hear me say the words good tangents and bad tangents, which only further complicate things. But in general, anytime I use the word tangent, I'm referring to an interaction between two lines that hurts the overall look of the art. Since I'm using the word so broadly, we can break things down into even more silly terms. For instance, a kissing tangent is when a shape or angle connects at just one point with another line or shape. This most closely relates to our math definition of what a tangent should be. The next type of tangent I'll talk about is when an object shares a line with a line from another object. We can call this a stolen tangent or a shared tangent, depending on your political beliefs. The next one I will quickly mention occurs when a set of lines runs in parallel to another set of lines. We can call this a mirroring tangent or parallel tangent. Somewhat in a similar fashion, there is also a type of tangent we can call an apex tangent. This occurs when a shape extends perfectly on the apex of another shape or angle. Those words might have been a little confusing, so just look at the picture if that one didn't make sense. Some types of tangents will always be unavoidable in art, but the main one you need to watch out for is the stolen tangent. I see this one most commonly in people's art, and it can also be the most damaging type. It's also worth mentioning that tangents can be considered to extend off continuously even when the actual line has ended. You can see how this line in the background steals the tangent of the mouth despite not actually connecting with it. Anyway, I'm talking a lot about how bad tangents are, but you might be wondering, why exactly is it such a horrible thing? Well, our brains are programmed to observe silhouettes in order to identify objects. Tangents often combine the silhouettes of separate shapes into one perceivable object. In the world of art, this means that everything will look flat, and it will ruin any attempt at depth you might be making. Let's showcase this by drawing a charming little tortoise. I'm going to demonstrate the very common stolen tangent problem. Not only that, I'm going to attempt the increasingly dangerous double stolen tangent. Please don't try this at home. While our tortoise carefully tries to eat some tasty leaves, his head has managed to line up perfectly with his leg, fusing the two shapes into one horrible silhouette. We'll throw in a window in the back as well with some spectators. Of course, the window also has some horrible tangent problems with the shell of our tortoise. Now that we've sufficiently ruined things, let's try to fix it a little bit. I'll move that leaf up a little higher so our tortoise can finally separate his head from his leg and show some actual depth of form. We'll even move the window a bit so our spectators can enjoy some tangent-free viewing. I would say this increased the amount of depth in this image by a solid 30%. Although that continuing tangent of the window lines up a bit too nicely with the edge of the head, so let's just vary that a little bit more. There we go, even more depth achieved. You might be thinking, I like things that look flat. Well, avoiding tangents isn't just for depth, it's also for avoiding confusion. Once again, the human brain needs silhouettes to best understand things. I'll try to make as many tangent mistakes as I can in this little doodle. Overlapping the tangents of one section of a limb with another section is always painful. You may have also heard me mention before that hair should be used as a graphic element to enhance a drawing. What if we use the hair as a graphic element to instead ruin the drawing by creating horrible tangents everywhere? Every line is lining up with another line, every limb is compacted into the silhouette, and every detail we add seems to just make things worse. You'd be surprised at how often most of these mistakes get made. For good measure, I'll even throw in an awkwardly tangented doorway in the background. Unnecessary background tangents are extremely pervasive if you don't stay mindful of them. I'll just pretend that I'm an aspiring artist making a fun little character drawing. Maybe some type of smarmy girl in a loose jumpsuit. That should be okay. It's not perfect, but maybe we're happy enough with it to throw on a background. More often than not, people will start placing background objects that start to flatten the overall image and create horrible tangents. The only goal of this background should have been to make the characters stand out and complement them. Instead, we're left with a big mess of lines that has flattened everything and ruined the drawing. Alright, I'm going to mess around with shapes for a little bit, and I recommend you try this out sometime if you ever get a chance. In my video about graffiti art, which is the main video where I talked about tangents, I made a little demonstration on tangents using a poster, a lamp, and a box. So I thought it would be fun to try that again and maybe improve things a little bit. Alright, so let's assume we want to take a picture of a poster, a lamp, and a box, all in one image. First of all, let's put up our little background. Here's our wallpaper. We got some nice vertical stripes going on. And for our poster, we can use this. That's a pretty cool poster, if I do say so. And then we can just throw in a lamp and a box. First things first, you may look at this poster and think, there's something that could be improved just a little bit. And since we put those vertical stripes on our wallpaper, I think it's best if we try to avoid lining up this tangent so perfectly. So we can either move this a little bit like that, or maybe a little bit like that would be better. It doesn't really matter. Let's just leave it like this for now. So now the tangents aren't lining up, and we don't have any stolen tangents going on. Next, we have our lamp. We can move that a little closer. If we just put it here, we would have this little kissing tangent. If we put it here, we would have a shared tangent or stolen tangent. If we put it here, we would also have a stolen tangent with the bottom. So we just kind of got to place things reasonably. Doesn't matter too much. We'll just stack that in there. What else we got? We got our little box of ninja weapons here. I don't know why I wrote that. So where can we put this? If we just set it right somewhere in front of things, let's assume that everything was up higher. You can see if the lamp, even if the lamp works, we don't want the box to share all the tangents with this poster in the background. You can see a shared tangent there, a shared tangent here, and it's all pretty dumb looking. So we want to avoid that. Even using it like this, that's kind of a shared tangent. Putting it like this, it still looks kind of flat and dumb. So once again, we want to lower things down just a little bit. See if we can break this up. Even this line and this line, we want a little separate. So that looks a little better. Now we can bring our lamp back down, pretend it's in front of things. We don't want a kissing tangent. Look at this. You gotta watch. There's 100 different places tangents might occur. So you gotta kind of be mindful and juggle all of these different tangents around and see if you can make it work. For this one, aside from this slight mirror tangent here, I guess we'll just have to leave it somewhere out here like that. Now we have a little depth. We have the depth of this object, and this object. So that's pretty good. We'll put this up a little higher. Let's pretend it's farther in the background. Just for fun, let's see how many bad tangents we can throw in. We can put that there. We can put our box right up against here. Ooh, maybe we can have it touch this part. That would be pretty annoying. We can just have everything flattened into singular shapes. Let's try having the lamp in front. Set it like this. That would be pretty annoying too. So you can see how this flattens everything out. This box kind of flows into this lamp. Nothing really stands out, and it's pretty ugly. So that's what people do in their art, and you have to be mindful of it. Alright, so with everything somewhat balanced, I guess that's reasonable. Now, you might say to yourself, when am I ever going to have to take a picture of my cool ninja weapons in front of my Cynics poster? Well, that's fine. The most common time I find I have to fine-tune tangents is anytime I have to put text over an image. Mainly for something people are going to see, such as a video thumbnail. So if you look at my video thumbnails, I try to do my best to avoid tangents. But if I wasn't doing my best, I'd probably run into a lot of stuff like you see on this video here, where there's tangents going everywhere, and it makes everything look stupid. So when you first saw this video, hopefully you noticed how terrible the thumbnail was. We could have improved it a lot by simply moving things around, trying to find a position where none of the tangents are crossing each other in horrible ways. Let's give a different example. So we got an image here. This will be good. This is just an old painting study I did. And let's pretend I had to make a little video thumbnail because this was a video. I can put in my little video sketchbook logo. It's not really a logo, it's just letters. But anyway, there's a lot of places I could move this. Overall, the contrast in this background painting isn't too extreme, so I shouldn't have any major problems. But you can see how if I line this B up with this telephone pole, it might look a little ugly or just flat. If I lined up maybe this V over here with the roof of this building, it's not quite a perfect tangent, but it definitely has a double little kiss going on here, which is pretty annoying. There's just a lot of little things you can do. Extending this S into this little awning over here. None of these are that major, and you'll probably just think I'm overanalyzing everything, but you know, when it comes to graphic design and placing objects, you might as well do it to the best of your ability. Look at that, that creates a dumb little tangent with this S line up here. As long as I placed it in anywhere which reasonably chaotic, I would probably be fine. Ideally, the dark contrasting parts of the background would be running perpendicular or in some other angle to the letters, so that would just make them pop out just a little bit more, but at the very least, you can just do your best to make the letters stand out. Alright, so anyway, I hope you get the point of this video, and I hope you learned a little bit about tangents. Be sure to always check all your drawings and paintings for tangents that might be ruining things. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, so thank you for watching, and a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. I'm trying to crank out as many as I can now. 2 a week, we'll see. That's the goal for this year. 2 every week. Alright, see you guys.